Today we have two very American brands being Ford and Jeep, and today we're going to be comparing two of their large SUV models.
And with me right here, we have a 2024 Ford Expedition Timberline, and with Jason, he's got a Jeep Grand Wagoneer, and we're going to be deciding whether or not the extra money is worth it for the Grand Wagoneer.
My name's Jason.
My name's Trent.
And you're watching Got an X. Now, the first thing we're going to compare is going to be looks, and if we take a step back here, Trent, I think there is a clear winner for which one looks better. I think the Jeep Grand Wagoneer just looks so much more luxurious. It looks a bit more filled out. There's more color in it. It looks brighter. It looks more expressive. There's just so much about the Grand Wagoneer that I think just completely overshadows what the Ford's trying to do.
I will definitely say that, yeah, this does look a lot more luxurious, especially with all the chrome trim that you see all the way from front to the rear. This one has a little bit, but it's a lot more subtle. It's a little more of a dull silver than chrome, I'd say. But this car does have a lot of dark accents, but I think that just has to do with the rugged and, you know, off-roadness or off-road likeness of this car.
Yeah, I mean, you do have the fun little pop of color with the orange line there, but I don't think that saves it from being a bit worse than the Grand Wagoneer. One thing that may be a bit worse, and it's personal preference to you, is going to be the engine. What do we have underneath that hood?
So this car does come stock with the 3.5 liter V6 EcoBoost high output engine, which means that it is producing 440 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque. What do you have under this one now?
All right, well, before we say anything, here comes the Hurricane, because underneath this, we have the Hurricane engine. This is going to be a 3-liter inline 6 engine that creates 510 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque. I mean, it is a great driving experience. I am tied to an 8-speed automatic transmission. I think you do beat me there.
Yeah, this one does have a 10-speed automatic transmission, though I don't think that's gonna make up for the difference. You definitely have a lot more horsepower in this car. I do have a tiny bit more torque, and that might help get me off the line a little bit faster, but then again, who's gonna be racing these cars?
Yeah, I mean, in the long run, this one's gonna be a better driving experience overall just because of that powertrain alone, but it's not a bad one in there, and I think for the cheaper price, it's not too bad, but knowing that they put more money into this one, having it in your engine is always a great thing. One thing we are gonna talk about real quickly is the side accents, and I feel like yours is very bland. Mine is a bit better. We have the silver lining through and throughout, and I also have automatic side steps here, which definitely feel a little bit more luxurious.
Yeah, it's definitely a luxurious feature on that car. I do understand this one just has the standard side steps that will stay there, but it does protect against any time you're off-roading, you might hit some rocks and stuff like that. So it's a good protection layer just for the paint and overall side of the car. Along the side, this is where the chrome trim does come into play. It's very minor, and, you know, honestly, it doesn't look that good on this car with all the dark accents. I think they should have just kept it with that.
Like an all black?
Yeah,
that might have been better.
It pops out a little bit. It's a little weird.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I have to help protect me from those extra little rebel pieces is it has air suspension. I can control how high I am off the ground, depending on where I am in the car, which I think might be a little bit more protective than just a little bumper guard.
Yeah, I mean, this one definitely doesn't have air suspension. It's got a slide. It's sitting a little bit higher than the regular Expedition. It does have these more off-road tires. One thing I really do like about this car, just to go with the bold black look, is that it does have the black wheels as well.
Yeah.
Yours does fit really well with these silver
Mine matches
alloys.
throughout, yeah, but you're black. That's what they should have done with the windowsill. Up next, though, is going to be the back, and we're going to talk storage space, because these are, in heart and theory, kind of road trip family cars. I mean, you want a little bit more storage space, and storage space is kind of barren if you're going to have the full 8 seats. I mean, the back of mine only has 27 cubic feet of storage space, and that's not impressive. And if you put the seats down, you're losing 3 passengers.
And I don't know the exact numbers for the storage space. It's very similar looking at both the trunk space on both these cars. I would say that this is round, similar rough numbers, but this one you can also put the rear seats down. But then again, yeah, as like you said, you lose those rear seats, can't take as many people. And for a big car like this, I want to be able to fit as much people and as much things as I can in this car.
And I mean, if you put the rear seats down in that one with this specific edition of the Expedition, you're going to be 4 people in a car this big, and that's kind of not worth it in my opinion.
At that point, you might as well just go buy the Explorer Timberline edition.
But now that we're talking about the inside, I mean, why don't we go on, take a look at all the nice features. Let's start with yours, because I'm waiting to blow you out of the water.
All right, let's go ahead and get inside. So once I actually did get into this car, I did notice that I was a little bit surprised, both in a disappointing way and in a pleasantly surprised, happy way.
Okay, what was the good one in here?
I do honestly like how they did keep that dark theme throughout the entire interior, and I really like how they have this orange stitching right here. You have it on the seats and everything. It does go really well with that highlighted accent that you have on the front and kind of all around the car. Yeah. And just another feature, you know, they really thought about stuff like that. But I mean, some of it, I do like the big screen. That was another big feature I did really like about this car, just because so many cars nowadays have such small screens.
I just feel like this one, maybe I'm overstepping, but I feel like it doesn't feel really that well integrated. I feel like they made it too high, so it feels a little out of place.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it was an afterthought placed in here, because it looks like a regular tablet you would just pull in and out of your car. But maybe in the future they'll, you know, integrate a little bit more. But for now, it's nice. It's really accessible, especially for the people. I mean, some of these older people, sometimes us, we have a bad time seeing, and a lot of the buttons are really big, which is really nice and helpful. One thing I think is really funny that it's kind of cool, I like, this car has 15 cup holders in it. I don't know why you need 15 cup holders, because I don't think every person...
It's a family car, man. Everyone needs a water and a fun drink. It's got enough cup holders
for every person in this car to have 2 drinks. It doesn't make any sense.
And then 1 guaranteed extra water to be safe.
Yeah, just for the driver, correct? You need one for your dog. You need a water bowl for your dog.
Of course, of course.
But I just think that's a funny thing. There's a lot of outlets as well in this car, a lot of 12-volt outlets throughout the car, which are great for, you know, charging anything from here to the back.
So let's talk about some of the bad things first and foremost. I mean, I'm going to bring it up, and you were probably going to do it, but cheap.
Yes, there's a lot of plastic in this car, which for $80,000...
85.
Yeah, 85 grand. The extra $5,000 could have went to some better materials in this car, for sure.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think that's one thing that definitely stands out to me just being in this car is I don't feel like this is worth $85,000. And I mean, that is a lot of money for... I mean, anyone.
Yeah, and this is one of the highest trims for this car right here. I mean, if this is what you're getting for a higher trim level, I'd hate to see what you're getting for the lower trim levels.
Of course, yeah. So let me show you what real luxury is like and where that extra 15 to get that thing is going to get you.
All right.
Now that we're in the Jeep, you can already tell this is a lot nicer. I mean, just from the leather here and the nice wood as well. I mean, I know you like some good wood, so this is definitely going to be one of your favorite features of the car. But there is just so much of an atmosphere in this car. I bet you just feel a bit more comfy, a bit more put together. I mean, this feels like a high quality thing, and I know that's what they're going for. So that is my first thing that I really do like. I think these seats are a lot comfier too. Both have cooled, both have heated, but this one has massage seats. As well as that, we also have a pretty large screen here, nowhere near as large as the F-150, but we have a separate screen here just for the seats, which is integrated into that, so you have to navigate and go through all this extra shenanigans to pull up the same thing in that car. This is always on demand. That's something I really like as well. Storage space in here is spectacular as well. I may not have 15 cup holders, I have 12, I believe, maybe 14 I counted, but inside here I have a fridge. This is a cooled compartment. I can have cold drinks where he can have a lot of drinks. So, you know, that is one thing that this car does a lot better than I think that one. Overall, though, there is just a bunch of great things. I mean, one more thing I'm going to touch on that is fantastic is Trent over here, if you guys want to look at that right now. He has his own little screen. He can set up whatever he wants. He can maybe play GTA 6 if it ever comes out on that screen as we're driving on a road trip. I mean, this is definitely a luxurious thing.
Yeah, I mean, the inside of this, it's a lot brighter than the Expedition, and I think it looks a lot better. I do like the wood accents.
I knew you would.
I knew that was coming, but I do like the wood accents. It pairs really well with this like bluish leather interior, which, you know, I was kind of skeptical about it when I first saw it, but it actually works really well in here. Yeah. The seats are definitely more comfortable. They kind of hug you more, and I really
There's so much you can do with them.
Oh yeah, it's seeing just having the massage seats are worth. To me, it's worth the extra money already.
It's worth the $15,000 difference.
If I'm going on a long road trip and I want to be comfortable, that's what I want. I don't want to sit in a chair that's going to be, you know, hurting my back at the end of the day.
Yeah. You want to leave the SUV feeling refreshed.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so many things that just Jeep outdid themselves with the interior of this car. Think so. I mean, I was honestly really surprised just because, you know, Jeep, you think about the Wranglers, Rubicons, Gladiators, very off-road, very off-road and rugged vehicles. So I was surprised to see them come out with such a luxurious, big, full-size SUV such as this. Yeah. And to be honest, for the amount of money you have to spend to get this car, you get so much with it. Like,
you get so much more. But there are going to be a few things we are going to touch about that I don't really like. This car is not without fault.
The thing I don't like, actually, is I don't like the placement of the seat adjusters. I mean, it is very luxurious because it's very Mercedes. That's what Mercedes does
feel Mercedes.
With their, you know, that's how you adjust their seat in Mercedes. But I'm just personally not a fan. I want to be on the side of the seat. I want to be hidden.
For American cars, I feel like it's better on the side. This is nitpicky though, and at the end of the day, I mean, it is just a preference thing, but that is something that we don't necessarily love about this. But overall, I mean, there is such a great amount of things packed in this Grand Wagoneer that really do put it a bit above Expedition. So let's go outside, we'll do our closing thoughts and tell you guys what we think. And I mean, that is kind of all the differences between the two. And I think there's a lot. I mean, it really does break down to being that $100,000, $110,000 versus that $85,000 to $90,000 range. What do you think, Trent?
Yeah, I definitely think that the price difference is a big it's a big thing to think about when buying a car like this. This car is, you know, cheaper. It does get the job done. It does what it's supposed to do, but for the extra money, I think it's definitely worth it to go with the Wagoneer over this. You get more performance, you get more luxurious interior quality, better just options overall, and I'd spend the extra money on that.
Yeah, I think I'm with him on this one. I just think if you're already going to be spending close to $90,000 on a vehicle, you might as well like the vehicle so much. And I feel like I can find myself liking this and keeping this for 10 years, but after 5 years, I'd be sick of that one. So it really does just come down to that. I think if you guys are in the market for either one of these, do not be ashamed to pick whatever one you want. This is just our personal take. That one is still a great option. Let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. And if you liked it, please leave a like on the video, subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.